use just basic history and in our understanding of these scriptures, you'll see that it fits perfectly. We don't have any history of a man named Adam walking around talking to people. And if we do, well then, where did he come to? What country did he come to? Who did he preach to? And where's his grave? What proof do we have that Adam was a physical individual that God created and then created other people from him? How did he create other people from him? Do the Muslims did the Muslims also believe that Adam had a wife, and then from that beginning they had to have an ancestral type of history to populate the earth, and then go from there? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Brother Mike, do you have a Message to Black Man in front of you?
Yes. Actually I don't, but I let my sister borrow it. But you go ahead and read from the one you got, because I don't have it with me right now.
Chapter 6. The coming of the Son of Man, the Great Mahdi.
Right.
Paragraph 13 says, the holy religious teachings of all the prophets from Adam to Muhammad. So Elijah Muhammad has Adam as a prophet, a man that actually walked the earth and probably died buried somewhere.
Right. Right.
Now also, chapter 37, Islam. What is Islam? Paragraph 5, the former prophets from Adam to Muhammad. Then you look at that same chapter 37, Islam. What is Islam? Paragraph 7, Islam is the religion of Adam, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad.
Right.
So Elijah Muhammad count him as a prophet, an individual, and within
the context. But go ahead.
Right. So he definitely. Let's see where else. And have someone to piggyback off that?
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. For me, was the difficulty in understanding who Adam was, because it's clear that he says that Adam is the father. Adam is is a race of devils. It's clear that in one instance that he says that Adam is the father of the white race.
Right.
But it's also clear that he says that Adam is a prophet. He recognizes Adam as a prophet, and whether he brought a book or not, which doesn't necessarily make you not be a prophet just because you haven't brought a book. Because Noah was a prophet, but he didn't have a book. Ishmael, Isaac, Yaqub, they were all prophets. They were all prophets, but they didn't all have books. So
Abraham didn't have a book either.
Well, Abraham did have a book, according to the Quran. But that doesn't, declassify them not being a prophet. But it's clear that Elijah Muhammad did acknowledge Adam as being a prophet. And he will only acknowledge him as being a prophet because this is the way that the Quran speaks about him. It speaks about him as being a prophet, as being a physical man who actually walked the earth. Now maybe from I don't know. It's hard to tell which perspective he's arguing when he speaks about Adam. Is when he talks about Adam in one sense as being the white race or the father of the devil, and things like that. Is he talking about that from the standpoint of the Bible and how you would read the Bible, and when he talks about Adam being a prophet, is he talking about from the understanding of the Quran? Because he doesn't really do a good job of separating the two in terms of understanding and how we read both scriptures. So he combines them in a way both at the same time, which kind of some way distorts the view of who Adam is, and it's kind of hard to figure him out.
Right. I can understand that view, but keep in mind that he only had spent 40 years trying to wake people up from being ignorant. So it's not, I'm pretty sure. As a matter of fact, I'm 100% confident that within the student classes and the schools that he taught every aspect of what he meant and the difference between
Is this, hello?
the first question we got to ask ourselves. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, you faded out for a while.
Huh? I faded out for a while? What part did I fade it out on so I can make sure I repeat myself?
You said you were sure that in the classes that he taught them.
Yeah, he taught the meaning of these things in student classes and among the laborers, but for the masses, he kept the message simple because our condition during that time was a lot different than it is today. Our symptoms were horrible, but the people of that time needed a simple message to wake them up from their mentally dead state. Now, now that we have the era of the internet and the people have improved in their disagreement with religious terms or whatever you want to call it, then we can come and pose these kind of questions, and they are intelligent questions. But not to get off into that, Adam. What was I going to say? Adam. The first question we got to ask ourselves is: Has the planet ever been devoid of righteous people? What do you guys think? Has the planet ever been devoid of righteous people preaching the word or the wisdom of God?
Has the planet ever been devoid of righteous people?
Yeah.
No, because it was no.
Since the earliest time, as far as back as we can calculate history, which we haven't calculated history to its very beginning. We just calculated history up to a certain point that we can find discoveries and whatever languages we can decipher from these ancient languages. But with that said, the Quran is not a book, and this is a verse in the Quran that speaks to this. That it's not about defining or validating the actual history of the people that's mentioned, but more or less the example of these people. Let's take Moses, for example. We don't believe, at least most of us, we don't believe that there was a literal man named Moses that went into Egypt because there's no history of it. But we don't get bogged down to that. We follow the example he gave to the Israelites and compare it to and bring it up to today to see how that example is being manifested.
There's no history.
Huh?
There's no history.
Say again?
Can you elaborate on that? You said that there's no history of Moses existing.
Yeah, at least from the Egyptian source. Only source of history we have of a man named Moses preaching to a people called Israelites is in the Bible, or it is according to the belief of the people in the Bible. If we study actual Egyptian history, we don't have a record of a people being enslaved for 400 years and walking to the Red Sea and partying and all that stuff. But we don't get bogged down in trying to debate whether or not it was actually.
But let me just add that one. The Egyptians also don't have a history of Yaqub other than the message to the black man, and also the Egyptians are not the Egyptians, and Alexandria was said to have burned up most of those records. So if there was any file indicating anything, it went up in smoke. But
they burnt what they had available to them. But as you know, the desert is a very big place. But go ahead.
Yeah, but what we do know, files was burnt up, and the files of Yaqub could be burnt up too in there, but we don't know. But we do know files have been burnt up.
The wisdom of Yaqub limited or regulated to Egypt. My
point is that nobody has them documented in their history. The Egyptians, the Asians.
How do you know? How do you know that?
Because we haven't read about it, and I know about it the same way you know about Moses not being documented other than the Bible and Quran. Because we haven't read it anywhere else but the Bible and Quran. We haven't read it anywhere else.
Do you believe that everything we have in terms of history is all the?
No.
I'm asking you that. I think my point in asking you that is that the Quran says that there are secrets that Allah keeps when He reveals these secrets at a certain time. So we can't say that everything we have in history that's it. I mean, the desert. We've barely been able to even uncover 1% of the treasures hidden in the desert. There are many books. There are many scripts that the white man cannot even decipher.
No, I understand that. But what I was saying, let
me just end my point so you can get your point. But with that said, just because we don't have a literal history of it, let's say of someone like Yaqub in the schools today, doesn't mean that there isn't a history. There's plenty of history. It's just in symbols and in some cases myths and legends. But go ahead.
So wherever the history of Yaqub is hidden, all I'm saying is, couldn't that history be Moses hidden in there as well?
Could the history of Moses be hidden as well?
Yeah, wherever Yaqub history is hidden at, could the history of Moses be hidden there as well?
In Egypt?
Wherever Yaqub...
Because this history or this event supposedly took place about 3,500 years ago, so this is within a vacuum of time where we've kept a decent record of what went on in the planet. The Egyptians were, they put a lot of their history back in that time.
The Egyptians are not there. The Egyptians was we all know that this is people with Arabs over here. No Egyptian there. That's what I'm trying to say. So of course they don't have anything. They're a baby.
Can I add let me just end with this point. The Egyptians, at least within the last 3,500 to 4,000 years, have documented a lot of historical events on their hieroglyphics and other manuscripts that the historians have found.
And the last part was
that's how we know, or how we can determine.
But you can't because But Mike, you can't because a large part of those documents went up in smoke. So we can't. A large part of those documents that went up in smoke, thanks to Alexander the Greek, the great Greek. So we don't know what was in those files. It could have been Moses, could have been Yaqub, it could have been anybody. So to ignore that would be a huge mistake. To sit there and say, okay, well, what we have left. Okay, well, look at history in America dealing with the black man from Africa. Like they don't have any history past Africa. They don't have any history of what we were doing prior to the United States. All they have is slavery for us. Right. So do we go by that? Is the world justified by saying, no, you guys were always slaves? Nope, there's no history on you. Nobody has history on you. You can't go by that. It's limited, and it was intentionally burnt up, so we really don't know.
Well, the Quran has somewhat of a little bit of a different take on Moses. The Quran doesn't get into all the detail that the Bible gets. So when we contradict the belief, at least from the biblical view of Moses, we contradict it based on what's said in the Bible.
Okay, as far as the devil, I understand that you believe the devil is the white race.
Mm-hmm. There's a manifestation of what the term devil means.
Okay, Hassan, you want to add on to that?
Okay, the concept of the devil and the white race and Adam, when I read Message of the Black Man, seem to all kind of coexist in some kind of way, shape, or form. And Message of the Black Man, chapter 6.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The Message of Black Man, chapter 6, it says, God and his prophets could not have given the white race a better name, serpent. And this is referring to the serpent that's talked about in the Bible. According to the characteristics of that race, it says, and it says that the serpent in Genesis 3:1 was none other than the devil, white race. He deceived Adam and his wife, causing them to disobey Allah, God, which was the plan of the serpent, devil. Okay? And he says that, okay, Adam is the devil, and the serpent is the devil. Right?
Yeah, so you're saying he says that Adam represents the right race. In the literal, you're talking about the literal definition, not the religious definition, but the literal definition, according to the Hebrew.
So Adam is the white race. When we read in the Bible,
according to the historical definition, but according to the religious definition, Adam can represent all of man, all of humanity.
Okay.
If you look at the religious definition and Google search it or whatever, it tells you in religious terms.
When Adam is mentioned in the Bible, who is it talking about?
It depends on what context he's mentioned. In the context of what you just read, we can see signs of it in the history and a condition of black people being deceived by a serpent.
So Adam is now the black people.
Every prophet, every story that we read in the Bible can be styled to represent different events in history or in our actions today. It's never just one definition or one meaning to it. There's many meanings to many things. So Jesus may drink some water, for example, and then he may use water as an example for people, or water for purification, or water for death. Same thing with some of these terms or people that we mentioned in the Bible.
Okay.
Or Quran.
It says in chapter 62, a message to the black man, according to the Bible, Adam and his wife were the first parents of all people. White race only. Oh, white race only.
Say again?
It says Adam, according to the Bible, this is the message of the black man, chapter 62, first paragraph. It says Adam and his wife, according to the Bible, were the first parents of all people, white race only.
The white race.
It's obvious you must have rehearsed this or practiced this, and then you're walking down the line and sort of, I guess. So
no, I took out
the white race as a white part.
So you say basically what you're saying is, okay, since he mentioned the term Adam and his wife represents the white race, well, hell, how could his wife and him represent the white race if they're just two people?
And how does the white race have a white?
You said
according to the Bible, I guess in that context they do represent the white race, because chapter 5 verse 2 calls Adam a people, or use Adam in the term plural. It doesn't say Adam and Eve. It says Adam.
Okay.
We should call their name Adam. But go ahead.
Right. So when I actually, according to the Bible, when Adam is being mentioned, it's referring to who? You said when the serpent went to Adam, if it could be going to that the Adam could be the black people.
It has meaning, but we can see our example in that story. We were deceived by a serpent.
We're talking about
we don't get bogged down to whether two people with fig leaves on their private parts walked around in some garden.
I'm not getting bogged down in that either. I'm trying to I'm trying to get to understand.
I guess you're misunderstanding him. You're reading a little bit too much into it. You know what his position is on Adam. So obviously, you know he's not talking about two literal people, a man and a woman, birthing a whole race of people in that sense.
I'm not going that far down and talking about that. You know, that he's saying that Adam and Eve in the Bible was the parents, and they you know had intercourse or whatever, and they birthed a whole race of white people. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm trying to say that he's saying. I'm just trying to identify that when you read, you know, certain things, like when I ask the question, who is Adam, you know, and he says that Adam is, according to the Bible, he's saying that Adam is the father of Adam and Eve, Adam and his wife, were the first parents of all people, and in parentheses he has white race only.
That's the same as saying Adam. He's just using a formality. That's all. Is this an example? It's not. So he's not saying that literally people. Obviously, if he's saying that Yaqub is the father of the white race, meaning their maker, then obviously Yaqub is not a man and a woman. He's a scientist. He used a method to bring about a people. So you can kind of see within the context that within the context that he's not literally talking about. He doesn't really mean it that way. The way that you may misunderstand it or take it in that context.
So Adam is not. I'm just trying to understand. So Adam, when it's talked about in the Bible, is not talking about a race of white people?
In certain senses, in certain instances they are. So if you're talking about in Genesis 5:2, you can see that example. If you talk about Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and 28, or verse 26, 27, and 28, we can see that example. Once again, we can apply the term Adam as a ruler in both books. But we could also apply the term Adam in just plain term English. If we're talking about religion, we can apply the term Adam in a religious sense to just represent man, or all of humanity. But go ahead.
I'm saying that Adam is only used one way in the Bible when it's talking about Adam. There's not many different ways that Adam is used when it talks about Adam.
In that one way. Well, it's not using just one way. We just gave you an example in Genesis 5:2. Is that one way? We got one way.
What I'm saying, that one way.
We have one way where he's described as a man walking in some garden someplace with his woman, and then we have another way where he's described as a people, plural, in Genesis 5:2.
It's not that he's described as a people, plural. It's that the people is called the name Adam.
Well, their name Adam is plural.
Yeah, but it's plural. But hold on. Right. The name is plural, but not the actual man. So when the scripture says, and he called them Adam, it's talking about the generation of Adam. So it's talking about Adam and his sons, and Adam's son's sons, and Adam's son's sons. Well, I'm just making a bigger point. You mentioned that that Adam was used in two different senses. I'm saying it's not. I'm saying, which I'm clearly right. I'm saying that it was saying that they called the people after Adam. It's not two senses, it's one sentence. And he's calling the people after Adam, his generation, his genealogy, all Adam, as you would my forefather had he had his original forename. Like, okay, you got the, let's say you got Harris. That, you know, like, let's say that was my original forefather's name. We would be the generation of Harris, and it would be to the first person. So it's simple as that. It's not talking about, it's not using Adam in two different senses. It's using Adam in one sense and calling everybody that came after Adam, Adam. Like how everybody after Christ in spirit is Christian. You know? So there's no confusion there.
I understand where you're coming from, bro. I understand. So what else you want to deal with?
What I was saying.
I think I sound like a bigger point.
Yeah, I was making a different point. What I was saying was that
is this
Hassan?
What I was saying was that what I was saying is that when Adam is mentioned in the Bible, it's referring to from what I understand, it's referring to the white race. because it says, according to the Bible, Adam and his wife were the first parents of all people, white race only, and the first sinners. You know, so when Adam, if Adam is referring to white race, when we read right here in Message to the Black Man, chapter 6.
What are you reading? What are you reading, Hassan? What are you quoting?
Message to the Black Man, chapter 6. He says, God and his prophets could not have. It says, God and his prophets could not have given the white race a better name, serpent. So, according to the characteristics of their race. So he called the white race the serpent. So in one instance, he says that according to the Bible, that Adam and his wife is the white race, and he refers to them as the parents of all people, of all the white people, and then refers to Adam as being the serpent, right?
Right.
So he refers to the white race as being the serpent. So we have the white race being the serpent, and the white race being Adam and his wife. Okay. And then he says in the next sentence, in the first paragraph of chapter 6, Message to the Black Man, that the serpent of Genesis 3:1 was none other than the devil, the white race. He deceived Adam and his wife, causing them to disobey Allah.
Right.
So he's saying that the serpent is the white race, and the devil. The serpent is the devil, right? He's saying that Adam and his wife is the white race, and the white race is the devil. So he's saying that the serpent, that the devil, if we just change the words, which actually mean the same thing, he's saying that the serpent went up to that Adam and Eve. The devil was in the garden, and the devil came to the devil and told the devil to disobey Allah.
Well, I mean, if you
Elijah Miles got a crazy sense of humor, man.
Well, if you guys want to confuse yourself in interpreting it that way, but obviously you know that's not where he's coming from. You know he's not literally talking about a man and a woman named Adam and Eve walking around doing this and that. He's just using the example that you are familiar with in the Bible. But getting back to my earlier point, Adam and Eve, the story, could be used as a sign of different actions in the future. So if we see the action of a serpent deceiving Adam and Eve, well, didn't the white man deceive the black man and black woman to come here to America, but then turned around and turned them into slaves? But we can also see examples of this in the white man's character, because also further on in the Bible, it says that the evil was fair seeming to him. So that means that Adam can also represent a person or a man or people who gravitate towards evil. So when the Bible talks about first man being made of earth, or the dusty type, and the second Adam is a man from heaven, then obviously the first man or the first ruler of this current spirit of time, the white man, he represents a people with a low character, low like the dirt. Dirt is dusty, it's dirty, it's filthy. So that's why we say low. So these are different examples in which we use Adam and Eve can be representative in many different facets of our lives today.
Right. I understand that when we look at. I don't
think it's important to try to dissect if he's talking about a literal man and woman, because you know what his teachings are on the white race as far as the literal plain layman's English. Yaqub is the father of the white race. He gave them a theology of tricks and lies, and they've been using that tool to rule the planet ever since their creation, or ever since their making.
Right,
he's just using formalities that you're familiar with to help you to understand the history, or how it can relate to you today. But go ahead. Is this Hassan?
Right. Yes, it's Hassan.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is yes. And when we look at certain examples from the Bible, and if certain things happen that are similar to examples or stories that are given in the Bible, we can say, well, this is just like that. This is just like that happened to them. You know, we are like those people or whatever. Yes, we could do that. But when Elijah Muhammad is giving his telling of when he's giving his telling of the story of Adam in the Bible, this is how he explains it. This is how he
didn't explain it in that order you explained it in. You went to different pages and picked out specific sentences, and then put them together.
This is all paragraph after paragraph after paragraph.
I'm pretty sure we can read. I'm pretty sure we can read and see that there's paragraphs surrounding each one of those phrases you use when you quoted him and saying those things.
Right, but the paragraphs that I'm about to read are right after one another. In the first paragraph of chapter 6, he says that the white race is the name of the white race is the serpent.
All right.
Stop there. Stop there. Hang on.
I noted it. Okay, got it.
Stop there. Now, you do realize that Satan and both God and Satan have many attributes, right?
What is an attribute?
An attribute is like a different aspect of their character. So if we say Allah, that's one way of describing God. Probably the best way to me. You can also say Jehovah, Yahweh, God.
Okay, right. I agree with you. I agree with you. Different ways to describe a person, but we won't describe a person by naming something totally different, will we?
Okay, so we got the part that he's describing the right man name as serpent. And next part.
I just want to establish this, that we agreed on what an attribute is, but an attribute is not something that describes them to be totally different.
Read it, Hassan. Mm-hmm.
The name of the white race is the serpent, right? The white race is the devil. Number 2, the white race is the devil. Okay?
All right.
So the white race is the devil, and the name of the devil, according to the Bible, is the serpent. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's on purpose.
Okay. So now,
go ahead.
Okay. So now, we have Adam and his wife. Adam and his wife are the parents of the white race. And you can put in the dash after that to the white race being the devil, the parents of the devils. Okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now we go to the third paragraph in chapter 6 when it talks about the forbidden tree. Okay. The Bible's forbidden tree, this is continue with the first paragraph. He deceived Adam and his wife, causing them to disobey the law, which was the plan of the serpent devil. According to the history.
Wait. So the plan of the devil was to deceive Adam and Eve. Okay, read on. Wow.
Okay. Their greatest desire is to make the righteous disobey the law of righteousness. Paragraph
so Adam and Eve the righteous now. All right.
Paragraph 2.
So he established in the beginning of that paragraph about the forbidden fruit, but go ahead.
No, he didn't mention anything about the fruit.
Well, what you okay? You happy with?
I was about to go into that, but you wanted me to read it all, so I read it all. So now it says the serpent of Genesis 3:1 was none other than the devil, the white race. Okay. He deceived Adam and his wife, causing them to disobey a law, which was the plan of the serpent, devil. According to the history of the devils, their greatest desire is to make the righteous disobey the law of righteousness.
All right, let's stop there. So that whole paragraph establishes that the devil deceived Adam and his wife, right? Caused them to disobey Allah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he, the serpent, deceives Adam and his wife.
The serpent is an actual thing, right? The serpent is what is a serpent?
The The serpent is a snake-like thing. Some can call it an eel-like thing, like a snake.
Right. So you're taking this to mean that it's their attributes, the serpent.
Well, I don't take it literal. I believe.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking you how you think that. But the white race is an actual person.
I take it the way though.
Hold on.
I take it the way the Bible. I take it the way that he just described it. He said according to their characteristics. So their characteristics.
Right. That's fine. That's fine. They were given the name serpent according to their characteristics, and the serpent, the name that they were given serpent, is an attribute. Right.
Right. That's what we believe. Right.
But the white race is an actual group of people, right?
Right.
Okay. So the white race is a group of people. Their name, or one of their attributes, is a serpent. Okay. So
right.
So we can keep reading. They are referred to by this name, serpent, in the Holy Quran, translated Muhammad Ali, to a tree that grows in the bottom of hell. Its produce is as the head of serpents, which the disbelievers shall eat from. And his footnote, he says that the Arabs apply the name shaitan to a sort of serpent, have a man, ugly or foul, in the head and face. Mr. Abdullah Yusuf Ali's translation of the Holy Quran in English, in the same chapter, verse 3:37-65, it reads, that's why I skipped over that verse. That verse, that doesn't mean anything. It's not tying into what the next verse is talking about. All right. So verse number 3.
According to you.
Well, verse number 3. Well, it doesn't, because the tree that he's talking about is the Zakum tree that's in verse number 2. And this tree that
do you believe trees have faces? Do you believe trees have heads of serpents and all that?
Like I said, that's a different topic. That's why I didn't address it. That's a different thing.
Well, then obviously we got to make sense of it. But go ahead.
Well, okay. The Bible forbidden tree was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. This also tells us that hold on. The Bible's forbidden tree was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. This also tells us that the tree was a person, for trees know nothing. Okay? This tree of knowledge was forbidden to Adam and Eve. Okay? The only one whom this tree could be is the devil. Now we have a problem.
Okay. All right.
Why do we have a problem? Why do we have a problem? Is because the white race is the devil, okay? And Adam and Eve, this is Elijah Muhammad's explanation of what things are in the Bible. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Elijah Muhammad is giving an explanation of what is written in the Bible, and this is how he explains it. He explains that the serpent is the name of the white race, according to his characteristics. That's him explaining something that's in the Bible and giving his explanation on it. He says that the tree is not an actual tree of knowledge, but it's a person, because trees know nothing. Then he says that this tree is nothing but the devil. The only one who this tree could be is the devil, right?
Right.
So he's saying that the serpent, the devil, okay, the serpent being the name of the white race, and the white race. Now we ask the question: who is Adam and Eve? Adam and Eve is white people. This is what he says. He says in chapter 6.
So basically, everything made sense up until he mentioned the name Adam and Eve.
I'm trying to clarify terms. This is what I'm doing. When he's mentioning things,
if you let him finish it, he'll get to it.
Right, yes, please. When he's mentioning things, Adam and Eve, white people, serpent, tree, he's clarifying these terms of who these people are. That's what he's doing. So he's giving his explanation of it, and he's clarifying these things. He's saying the tree of knowledge of good and evil is not what you think it is. It's an actual person, because trees don't talk. He's clarifying things. So he's clarifying also who Adam and Eve was. And in Message to the Black Man, chapter 62. No,
not really. He's just using the story as an example, but go ahead.
In Message to the Black Man, chapter 62, he says, Adam and his wife.
Wait. So now we're leaving 58 to go to 62 now.
Is that a problem? Do you not want to know who Adam and Eve is?
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
When we get to chapter 62, the first paragraph says, according to the Bible. And remember, every time he's quoting from the Bible, most of the time he's saying according to the Bible. So he's giving his explanation of what the Bible is saying. So he says, according to the Bible, Genesis 3:20 through 24, Adam and his wife were the first parents of all people. And in parentheses he says, white race only. So this is the same Genesis that's being quoted in chapter 58. The same Genesis, is the same serpent that's being quoted in Genesis 3 and chapter 58. It says the serpent of Genesis 3:1. He's talking about the same Genesis. This Genesis 3:20-24. This is all within the same story. Okay, so Adam and his wife is the first parents of all people, white race only. So the Adam that's mentioned in Genesis 3 is the white race only. Okay, right. So we now know who Adam and Eve is when he's talking about this in chapter 58. So we know Adam and Eve is the white race. We know that the name of the white race is the serpent according to the characteristics of the race. And we know that the tree in paragraph 3 and 58, that the only one whom this tree could be is the devil. So the white race is the devil. Adam and Eve, according to the Bible, which we quote, is the white race, and the white race is the devil. That's two devils. Okay, we got the name of that the tree is the devil. Okay, and now we look back at the story. We got the serpent. The devil came to the devil and told the devil to go to the devil, and he was misguided by it. So the devil was doing all this, misguiding himself. This is how if we take this and then reread the story, we see that the devil went to the devil to tempt the devil to disobey God. That's how the story reads. That's how the story reads if we understand it the way Elijah Muhammad explains it.
So I can go ahead and I can say something on it now. I want to make sure you express where you're coming from.
Yeah, because I'm confused. I'm like dizzy.
The serpent, brother, as we just talked about, represents an attribute. When the Bible talks about a tree that's composed of good and evil, he's referring to a doctrine that you read in the book, or that's told to you through oral tradition. And so the righteous who eat from that tradition or connect themselves to that tradition will be deceived, because in that tradition is truth and falsehood. Now understand that falsehood cannot exist without lies. If a lie is by itself, then you can see it for what it is. So it needs a little bit of truth for it to exist, or it needs a certain amount of truth for it to exist. So when we read chapter 58, he's exemplifying that doctrine as being a method or methodology that deceives the righteous, and it just so happens that Adam and Eve in chapter 58 are examples of how the righteous can be influenced by that evil doctrine. You need a person to introduce you to that doctrine. That person is the serpent. That doctrine is tricks and lies, or the tree of good and evil. So now when you get into the 62nd chapter, it says that Adam and his wife were the first parents of all people, were the first sinners. He's only saying that he's just reflecting. You can take Adam and his wife in that sentence, or within that context, is just representing the white race, or the Adamic race, or the Adamite race. So that's the difference there. There's nothing confusing about it. The only thing that's confusing is if we don't understand it properly is when we read the Bible by itself without someone to properly teach you what it meant. So you have to take Adam and Eve, or Adam, within the context of the example he's giving. So he may say that Adam and his wife represents the devil, and he may give you an example of that. And then in another sense, he may say that Adam was deceived by the serpent. So obviously, you got to put the story with the actions of the people, and the actions of the people can be fulfilled or seen as fulfilled through the actions and practices of black people today through our submission to white supremacy.
Okay, so Adam and his wife. Okay, in the first verse, chapter 50, first paragraph of chapter 58, he says he deceived Adam and his wife. Right. He says he deceived Adam and his wife, causing them to disobey Allah, which was the plan of the serpent, the devil. Okay. If we, the key here is, who is Adam and his wife? Are they of the righteous, or are they the devil? Because at the end of this verse, it says, the end of this paragraph, it says, their greatest desire is to make the righteous disobey the law of righteousness. So if we take Adam in this paragraph, they will be the serpent, right? The white race, right? They would the plural. Am I right? That they would be the white race, the serpent?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Glad you agreed to that. It says that they would be the white race, right? Now we have to have an understanding of who Adam and his wife represent. Who are they? Are they of the righteous, or are they the white race, as it says in the 62nd chapter?
Within the context of different parts of the scripture, they can represent both. In some instances, Adam and Eve, or Adam represents the white race. In some instances, according to the description of the story, represents Satan or the devil.
Yeah, but not within the same chapter. Do you see that it's the same chapter of Genesis, though? It's the exact same chapter of Genesis.
That's what I'm saying to you. That even in the same chapter, when you get to
that sounds like you're picking and choosing of who you want to be. It is.
No, not really. We got to put the shoe where it fits. Put the shoe on the foot that it fits in. So we can read various verses in the same chapter where we have a clear description of who it's talking about, and then in the next few chapters we can see the same person under the same name being exemplified to represent the righteous. It happens all the time in the scripture.
But not in the same chapter.
Water, for example, is a good thing if you're thirsty, but it also can be an evil thing if you're drowned. It can be used as a weapon to drown you, but it's still water. So,
right. What I'm saying is,
same example we can use that same example when we're describing and talking about Adam and Eve.
What I'm saying is that you can't do that in the same sentence. It's like I say, you can't do that in the same chapter. The chapter say he quotes Genesis 3:1 is the same chapter in chapter 62 when he quotes Adam. Genesis 3, it's the same chapter.
Well, he makes it clear. He says the righteous. They deceive the righteous.
So is Adam a part of the righteous? That's what I'm asking.
But obviously, we don't get bogged down in no literal story. We just say the white man. We don't get bogged down in no story about some man named Adam, because the name Adam did not exist 6,000 years ago. It didn't exist 4,000 years ago. It didn't exist 2,000. It didn't exist 1,000.
So is Adam a part of the righteous, or is he the white race?
Well, Adam, within the context of however it's read according to the story, can represent either or in the Bible.
So you can't pinpoint Muhammad exegesis.
That's not.
If he's saying that they use this technology or this tree of good and evil to deceive the righteous, well, who's the righteous? Can't be the right race.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out who are they.
Contradiction.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is Adam the righteous, or is Adam the white people, the race of white people?
Within those two chapters that you read, 62 and 58, they are both. Depends on the context. They're the righteous who have been deceived.
What I'm saying is,
they're also the bringers of bloodshed and violence. If you compare their characteristics to Genesis chapter 1, 27 and 28, and the Holy Quran chapter 2, verse 30.
What I'm saying, I'm not quoting those verses. I'm sticking in the same chapter that he quoted from Genesis. This first paragraph in 58, he quoted from Genesis 3. And 62, he quoted from Genesis 3. So this is the same Adam that's being mentioned throughout the same chapter.
You got it.
You saying that Adam in one sense could be used in one way in one chapter, and in another chapter it can be used in a different way. That's all well and good. That may be the case, but in the same chapter, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
I did a sign of comments for you to buy, but we can take examples of the righteous and the unrighteous in the same chapters of many books in the Bible.
Well, not in the same chapter.
We're not dealing with that.
We don't view the scripture in a one-dimensional, surface type way. There are many dimensions of how we understand this book. Because you listen to someone else, if you read it within the context of each chapter and the paragraphs in those two particular chapters that you just quoted from, it makes it plain and simple. So if you read chapter 58, obviously he's talking about Satan or the certain deceiving the righteous. And in another chapter, I haven't read it, he's obviously describing the actions of the bloodshed. So the chapter 62 is referring to the white man's nature, and chapter 58 is referring to the righteous. That's why if you read chapter 62,
so Adam and Eve is the righteous.
If you read, no, it ain't not the righteous. It's just we're just dealing with the meaning of these terms within their proper place.
Yeah, but according to you, the proper place
has
no proper place.
No, that's not a problem. Yes, it does.
According to you, it has no proper place because it can mean this here and it can mean this there.
Explain to me here. Chapter 62, Adam is described as being represented according to their literal scientific definition. Chapter 58 is just explaining to you the religious definition.
Okay, so can you read 62 for me, Brother Mike?
Yeah, according to the Bible, chapter 3, verse 20 to 24.
Right.
Adam and his wife were the first parents of all people. In parentheses, someone put white race. So obviously, that's Adam and Eve symbolically represent the white race.
Hold on. Did you just say someone put white race?
Yeah, someone put parentheses white race.
Who put parentheses white race?
The editor.